Hey guys, Willows here. This is going to be part one of hopefully only 3 videos to give a combat tutorial. Now the goal of this tutorial is going to be to show those new to the game, both players and dungeon masters alike, a sense of how the rules work in translation from the book into actual combat. And also, for those of you who are, skilled at the game or experts or really comfortable with the game, it might be fun just so you can see someone else's interpretation of the rules when it comes to combat. Now, other than the rules, I also want to show how you can use things like pipe cleaners and combat condition markers to add a little flavor and ease to your game. Alright, so we'll set up the scene right here. I have a 3rd level warden, which I use in one of my regular campaigns that I'm a player in. And he was just in a town, and he found out through some local rumors or whatnot that a group of goblins has been harassing the local townies. So Brahm found his way to the goblin lair, and now he's going to plan to assault it so he can deal with them. Now that he found the lair, he's hidden behind some rock outcroppings, and the goblins aren't aware of his presence. Now there's a goblin sharpshooter here who is on guard duty, and now if Brahm wants to sneak up on him, he's going to have to make a stealth check against the goblin's perception. Now Brahm is a level 3 warden, so he has half his level, so he has +1 to stealth. He's not trained in it, so he just has 1 to stealth. And then we'll add that to his -3 penalty. 2 for his large shield, and 1 for his high armor. So that's going to give him a -2 to his stealth checks. So he'll make his first movement. It is a 10. -2 is 8. So Brahm will move 1, 2. However, he would fail to be stealthy enough, so the goblin sees him. So now this is going to be a surprise round because Brahm took the goblin completely unaware. Another interpretation would be, since Brahm failed his stealth check, and that will kind of even out the playing field and you just roll initiative, but I feel that the goblin wasn't aware of him, now he is, and Brahm realized that he was aware of, so it'll be a surprise round. Now with surprise round, you can only pick one action, or one sub-action from a combat turn. And the main actions of a combat turn are going to be the standard action, which takes the longest amount of time, the movement action, which takes less time than the standard action, and the minor action, which is the quickest of all actions. Well, next to the free action, which is of course free and almost instantaneous, and so I don't really count as part of the combat sub-actions. So, as I was saying, with a surprise round, you may only take one of the sub-actions. And so, Brahm, to close in the gap, is going to elect to take his movement. So he'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll roll initiative. First for Brahm. Brahm rolls a 15, +5 for a 20, because for half his level and for his improved initiative feat. The goblin will roll for a 9, +6 for 15. So Brahm, wanting to end this quickly, is going to use his brutal strike and hope to take him out in one hit. And the brutal strike is a 3rd level encounter power. So Brahm rolls, wow, and he rolls a natural 20. Now, critical strikes or critical hitting are an important part of combat, and they're a lot of fun. When you roll a natural 20, it's a really exciting thing, and as well it should be, because you get to take your maximum damage for your strike. Now, the brutal strike encounter power is 2 weapon damage, and Brahm has a bastard sword, so the weapon damage is a D10. So he deals out 20 for the 2d10 plus 3 for his strength, and because Brahm is an Earth Warden, he gets to use his Constitution bonus, so that will be 27 total points of damage to the sharpshooter. However, Brahm also has a vicious bastard sword, and what the vicious bastard sword does, it allows you to roll a d12 extra damage whenever you perform or whenever you get a critical strike. So he'll roll his damage, and he rolls an 8. So it'll be the 27 plus 8 is going to be 35 points of damage. Now the goblin sharpshooter only has 31 hit points, so that slays him outright. Now that, since it was one quick strike, I'd say the goblins are close enough they might hear it, so I'll give them a check of a moderate difficulty check. And I'll roll it just for fun. Now, the cutter's perception is +1, I roll a 5, so that's 6. So this goblin cutter's busy around with these crates, so he really doesn't hear his friend get cut down. Or if he does, he just passes it off as some inconsequential noise that he's not interested in. Now what I like to do is I like to use the condition markers to put down where fallen enemies are, since a fallen enemy does constitute as difficult terrain. And difficult terrain might subtract 1 from your movement as you pass over it. So Brahm is going to try to continue to sneak into this lair. And he rolls an 11 minus 2. That's going to bring him to a 9. So he moves a 1, 2. And this goblin notices him, as well as these two up here. Now we come to combat initiative rolls. And there's 3 ways to deal with initiative. The first way you can deal with initiative is you roll, for your player characters roll their initiative, and then you roll 1 initiative roll for every single monster. A benefit to this way is that it will make combat a lot more easy to keep track of, and it will move it along faster. However, with efficiency, you really lose any lack of realism. The second initiative method, the one in which I use, is a monster or NPC subgroup initiative, which is for every different monster or every subgroup of the monster, you would make a separate initiative roll. And I think this way blends both realism and ease. The third and most difficult way for the most type A of dungeon masters would be to roll initiative for each separate monster. And while this really is realistic, it's a nightmare to keep track of, and it will definitely bog the game down. So now we'll roll initiative. We roll for Brahm, since it's a new combat round. Brahm rolls an 8, plus 5 is 13. So Brahm's down for 13. The Goblin Cutters get an 8, plus 3 is 11. So 11 for Goblin Cutters. The Sharpshooters have an 8 plus 6, so 14. The Goblin Hexer, a 5 plus 3 is 8. And for the Stormclaw Scorpion, a 17. Plus 3 is 20. Now one thing that I'll do for initiative is I write 20, 15, 10, and 5. Then I have the characters roll first, and then I put them in order to the numbers. Then I roll for the monsters, and then I add the monsters in. And what I do really also to this is that once I have them written down, I'll write their hit points down along the second column so I can mark off their hit points. So the Scorpion has 32 hit points. The Sharpshooters have 31 hit points. Cutters, of course, have 1. Brahm has 47. And the Goblin Hexer has 46. Oops, he got moved. So, I think this is a good spot to end the first video. Thanks for watching, and I will post the second one up in a day or so. Thanks, bye.